Hello, everyone. I'm so cold. I've got a fan heater blowing in my face. The bloomin' boiler's broken. So I've got a lovely man called Harry. He's going to come and help us. He's going to come and fix the boiler. Well, he's going to come and have a look at it. He's not sure he's going to have the parts, but it's a start. How are we all? I've had to turn off that fan heater because I think what happens is otherwise it interferes with the noise. And we need crystal clear audio here at Homo Sapiens Towers, because then you can all hear what I'm saying. And we've had a lovely week. I've had all my family down. I've had, so we had a full house and no boiler, which we had hot water, we didn't have heating. It's very early in the morning I'm recording this. So yeah, and I didn't sleep very well. I just seem to wake up at 5, like, bing, wide awake. And I'm like, oh, but my Whoop band, I've got a Whoop band, and my Whoop band is back in action. I'm thrilled to report. So that normally tells me how my sleep went. Let's have a look what the Whoop score was. Does anyone else have a Whoop band? If you do, write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com. So my sleep score was 83%, which is very good, but my recovery is 66%, which means that I'm tired. Anyway, that's not what you came here for, is it, listeners? You came here to see a man in an orange jumper he's unsure about, reading your emails and talking about gay rights. Now, not just gay rights, but... so I don't know enough about this, so I'm going to keep it brief. But something that shocked me and disturbed me is to see that Italy have banned surrogacy for parents. Which means gay parents, queer parents, really. So that's really devastating, and I need to look it up. But it's hard to stay on top of the news because what's been going on in Minneapolis is absolutely atrocious, and I just want to say that out loud. And we've all got to not be numb to this stuff, you know? The Trump administration is out of control. I'm not pointing out anything new by saying that, but I think we can't turn away from it. Something we can turn towards, though, in much brighter news, is the Homo Sapiens Dog Walk. Saturday, Tuesday today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 days' time. Saturday, it's in Regents Park in London, 1 p.m. at the Regents Bar and Kitchen, which is in Regents Park. You can look it up on Google Maps. That's the great thing about it. And we'll be meeting there at 1, leaving for dog walk promptly. And people are bringing their dogs. Some people are not bringing their dogs. They just come for the walk, which we, either or, really. And just really looking forward to meeting you all. And thank you for all those people who've written in and said they're coming. It's really exciting. Dr. James Greenwood is coming, and Morgan Rees, co-host who was on last week talking about the Moustache, is also coming with his other half. Now, let's talk about the Moustache, actually, because you were writing in really funny things. So I shared that Tom Selleck was the guy for me. I was saying in the podcast that I find moustaches hot, and Tom Selleck was the reason for that. Anyway, Simon said, oh my God, this was exactly me as a kid. Tom Selleck was the one. So I'm glad I wasn't alone there. And then other people writing in about why they have moustaches. Aid said, honestly, one of the reasons I started working out was to have the body I found attractive and to wear the clothing I found sexy. It was a nice benefit of getting stronger and healthier. So that was to do with Morgan saying that I think he did it because, was he saying he wanted to have a moustache because he thought it was hot or something? I can't remember now. And then DJ said, when I trim my moustache, I always say to myself, more Magnum, less daddy. But honestly, is there really a difference? Well, this is the thing, isn't there? I think there's 1,000 moustaches and more, and they all communicate something different. There's kind of like the doorstep one. There's the kind of San Francisco daddy one. Magnum is sort of more, possibly it feels a sprinkle more vanilla, doesn't it, for some reason? But all of them set my heart on fire. So Jamie is now encouraging me in the comments to grow a moustache. What do you think about that? I could AI a moustache onto myself and see what it looks like. I don't know. I'm covering my face. Yeah, I sort of cover my chin and I can see. My mind went to maybe I'll do it on holiday. Maybe I should do it on holiday. Thomas wrote in, great episode this week on moustaches. My dad has had one all my life, whereas I fall into the category of too scared to try. Whoop, whoop. Here's to us, Thomas. So I wasn't the only queer boy teased for my eyebrows growing up. Oh, as in because I said I was teased for my eyebrows growing up. And so were you, Thomas. Kids are cruel, but I grew up to be a fabulous gay man, and they grew up to be, let's face it, unremarkable. So I guess that's justice, lol. Keep up the great work, loving this series. Or season, if prefer American lexicon. Thank you, Thomas. And yeah, do you know what? Like, it's a universal truth, but anyone who's bullying anyone is just unhappy themselves. And I know that when I was a bit of a bully at school, it was because I was unhappy. And it wasn't for a terribly long time, but I was a real asshole for a bit. And I regret it, and I say sorry to all those who I upset. Traitors final. Who watched? God, it was good. I was so convinced. Oh, now, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Anyone who hasn't, shut your ears now for the next 60 seconds. I was convinced Stephen was going to do it, was not going to do it. I was convinced Stephen was going to stab, was it Rachel? Was that her name? In the back. Because he sort of laid it out saying more money is better. But also, when they did that final vote, if I was right, because you have to think of tactics so live and fast, I was like, even if he voted her out, he would have definitely won. So he really did do it. If he'd stabbed her in the back, he would have won for sure, based on how everyone else was voting. So he really did do it just to be keeping to his word, which I get and I think is kind of noble. But I almost think, I don't know if anyone else thought this, I thought the more fun version would have been to stab her in the back to create the plot twist and then say to her, but I'm going to split the money with you. I don't know. It is a game after all. And so, I mean, I know your heart's in it when you're in it, but I thought that's what he might have done, because I think that's creating more twists. But yeah, what did you all think of it? I thought it was the best series yet. To be honest, I've not watched it properly before. So, but it was just I came into it really late and I just was gripped. And I thought Matty, who was on the podcast here, Matty Hyman, thought he was amazing. He's so smart. There's something really good and nutritious and wholesome about him. And he's got this walking club. But actually, I'm pretty sure we spoke about it on the podcast a few weeks ago. We definitely tagged him in something. I can't remember why. But anyway, the Gay Hike Club. I think I spoke about it on Community Message Board. Anyway, loved him and I loved his interviews. And I think the BBC afterwards show where they break it down with Thingy from Off Menu is great. I'm blanking on his name. He's brilliant. Anyway, so that's that. Very interesting story this week. The BBC has apologised to a former radio presenter after an internal investigation found a failure to act in response to homophobic abuse. Jack Murley alleged he was called homophobic names, including Fairy Boy, by other staff members and told to sound less gay on air by a manager. The 37-year-old was dismissed from BBC Radio Cornwall in 2024 for breaching the organisation's editorial and social media guidelines after posting online about proposed changes to BBC Local. An employment tribunal found it was reasonable and not a result of discrimination over his sexuality. In a subsequent letter to Murley, the BBC's chief operating officer across nations, Jason Horton, apologised on behalf of the organisation for the behaviours and comments he was subject to. We've worked hard to change the culture for better across management and the wider team, Horton said in the letter, adding that work has been done to address the recommendations made. Horton acknowledged the BBC accepted all the findings, but did not believe there were grounds for a final natural payout to Murley. But what I think is interesting about this story is that, we're diversity and inclusion, everyone's behind it, but they do still have a problem with things like sounding gay. And, there is a lack of tolerance or a lack of respect for the fact that people speak differently. And there's a fundamental belief that queerness is alienating, I think. And that seems to be what I feel has come through with that story. Now, this sparked me to ask you all, have you ever experienced homophobia at work? 76% of you have experienced homophobia at work, which I thought was really interesting. So we're going to do an episode on this. I thought it was really quite shocking. I have experienced it over time, like long ago, but I also think I've definitely experienced that kind of, your work's a bit gay, or your things are a bit gay, or your ideas are a bit gay. I've had that said to me by people. I don't know. I've definitely felt the confusion I present, but I've never had actually anyone be directly homophobic to me. But it's a sort of underneath the subtext of a lot of interactions, isn't it? Anyway, so we'll do more on that. I'd love to hear more from you all. Co-host, gorgeous co-host of this season, Jessie Ware, has a new single out. Now, all you need to do is go on. I could get used to this. It's called, I'm going to say B for Banger. It's absolutely brilliant. It's getting a really good reception, which was very exciting. The gays have been going wild, I believe is what people will say. And yeah, I've heard lots of other bits of the album, and it's incredible. So very exciting. Now, all I have to do now is say that, listeners, you've got to write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com, at Homo Sapiens on Instagram, and on YouTube here, Homo Sapiens Pod. Write in. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us if you experienced homophobia in the workplace. Tell us what you thought of Traitors. Tell us if you're coming on the dog walk. Tell us what you'd like us to talk about in the episodes. Dog walk is in 4 or 5 days' time. Saturday, 1 p.m, Regents Park. Meet outside Regents Bar and Kitchen, which is in Regents Park. Nearest tube is Regents Park Tube, which is on the Bakerloo line. I'm getting very good at this messaging. Can't wait to meet you all. You don't have to bring a dog. Do stay in touch. Sending you loads of love, listeners. And I'm going to put my fan heater back on now. Should be nice. Look, I'm getting back on the desk. Absolutely freezing in here. I had it blowing in my face. So I'm going to leave you with this cool breeze. I like Jessie in her video, just hair shimmering in the wind with my fan heater. Loads of love, listeners. Bye now.